representing Nigerian Exchange Limited. And for our engagement, our external auditors, Mr. Joshua Ansah and Mr. Oyelade Olatunji. For the registrar, we have Mrs. Priska Enwell. And for the goal evaluation company that did our water evaluation, Mr. Depoya again, before inviting the secretary to read the notice convening the meeting, I would like to inform all members that the Register of Directors Holdings is available for inspection throughout the meeting in accordance with Section 3018 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act. I now invite the Secretary to read the notice convening the meeting. Very well.
Highly esteemed board of directors, my distinguished shareholders, it gives me great pleasure to be here once again to read out the notice convening this annual general meeting. Notice of the 38th annual general meeting of members of Sumu Assurance PLC. Notice is hereby given that the 38th annual general meeting of members of Sumu Assurance Nigeria PLC will be held on Friday, 13th of June 2025 at DWC, plot 168 Ahmadu Bello Way, Victoria Island, Lagos, by 10 a.m. to transact the following business. Ordinary business. Number 1. Today, before shareholders, the consolidated audited financial statements of the company and its subsidiaries, as approved by the board of directors of the company, together with the reports of directors, audit committee, and external auditors of the company for the year ended 31st December 2024. Agenda 2, to declare a dividend. Agenda 3, to re-elect the following persons who will retire as non-executive directors by rotation in accordance with Clause 92 of the Companies Articles of Association. Number 1, Mrs. Olajumoke Bakare. Number 2, Ajia Aisha. Agenda 4, to authorize the board of directors to fix the remuneration of external auditors. Agenda 5, to disclose the remuneration of managers of the company. Agenda 6, to elect shareholders representative of the audit committee to hold office on it until the next annual general meeting. Special business. Number 1, to approve the remuneration of non-executive directors. Number 2, to consider an import fee to pass the following as ordinary resolution. That in compliance with Rule 20.8a of the Nigerian Exchange Limited, governing transactions with related entities or interested parties, the company be and is hereby granted the general mandate to enter into recurrent transactions with related parties for the company's day-to-day operations, including, among others, the procurement of goods and services on normal commercial terms. This mandate shall commence on the date on which this resolution is passed and shall continue to operate until the date of the annual general meeting. Distinguished shareholders, if I have your permission, I take the note as read. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. The distinguished shareholders, for the chairman's statement, I would also indulge your patience in considering my statement as read. Thank you very much. The chairman's statement can be found on page 10 to 14 of the 2024 annual report and accounts, which has already been circulated. in the interest of locating sufficient time to address other business at the meeting, we shall take this statement as read. I now call upon the representatives of the external auditors, SIAO partners, to read the report of the external auditors, which have been circulated to members with the accounts for the year ended 31st December 2024. Same can be found on page 52 to 55 of the 2024 annual reports and accounts.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman of Suno Assurance Board, other board members, and also management of Suno Assurances, and then the distinguished shareholders. Good morning. My name is Joshua Ansa, and I am from SIAO Chartered Accountants, the auditors that were appointed to audit the financial statements of Suno Assurances PLC for the year ended 31st of December 2024. With our work and also did a review of the ICA fund, which is a new requirement by SEC and the FRS. Our report on the ICA fund can be found on page 47 to 49. Pages 47 to 49. We have the assurance report of independent auditor. Please, I'll please be indulgent that we should assess that report as having been read to you. Thank you so much. And then, so I will move to read our opinion on the financial statements. Our opinion on the financial statements is contained in the booklet which has been circulated on pages 52 to 55. Pages 52 to 55. And I will also again plead the indulgence that I should take the first paragraph, the second, and the last paragraph of the report of our opinion. Okay, if that is accepted, then I'll move on to read our opinion. Page 52. Independent auditors report to the shareholders of Suno Assurances Nigeria PLC. Report on the audit of the consolidated financial statements for the year ended 31st of December 2024. Our opinion. We have audited the consolidated financial statements of Suno Assurances Nigeria PLC, the company, and its subsidiary, all together the group, which comprise the consolidated statement of financial position as at December 31, 2024, and the consolidated statement of comprehensive income, consolidated statement of changes in equity, and consolidated statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and notes to the consolidated financial statement, including a summary of significant accounting policies. In our opinion, the consolidated financial statements give a true and fair view of the consolidated financial position of Suno Assurances Nigeria PLC and its subsidiaries as of 31st of December 2024, and the consolidated financial performance and consolidated cash flow for the year then ended in accordance with international financial reporting standards as far as applicable and in the manner required by the Financial Reporting Council Act 2011 as amended, and Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 and Insurance Act 2003 of Nigeria, the Investment and Securities Act 2007, and the relevant NICOM circulars. basis for our opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with international standards on auditing, ISO. Our responsibilities under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibility for the audit of the consolidated financial statement section of our report. We are independent of the group in accordance with the International Ethics Standards Board for Accountants Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, the IBA Code, and we have fulfilled our other ethical requirements in accordance with the IBA Code. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide the basis for our opinion. Then the last paragraph on page 55. Compliance with the requirements of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 and the Nigerian Insurance Act 2020. The Companies and Allied Matters Act and the Nigerian Insurance Act require that in carrying out our audit, we consider and report to you the following matters. So we confirm, one, we have obtained all the information and explanations which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purpose of the audit. Two, in our opinion, proper books of accounts have been kept by the group so far as appears from the examination of documents. Three, the group statements of financial position and profit or loss and other compressed income are in agreement with the books of accounts. And this report is signed by Joshua Ansa on the 20th March 2025 on behalf of FOM and on behalf of SIA. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joshua. I now call upon the chairman of the audit committee, Mr. Samuel Adedoyin, to read the report of the audit committee, which has been circulated to members of with the accounts for the year ended 31st December 2024. Same can be found on page 27 of the annual report.
Thank you, sir, our chairman. Thank you so much. Chairman, Suno Assurances Nigeria PLC and the subsidiaries, board members of the Suno Assurances, management and staff of Suno Assurances, regulatory authorities, our external auditors, our registrars, distinguished fellow shareholders. Good morning, ma. Good morning, sir. You are all welcome. Good morning. I am reading the audit committee report on page 27 of Suno Assurance PLC. Report of audit committee for the year ended 31st December 2024. In accordance with the provision of section 404, subsection 7 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, we have reviewed the audited financial statements of the company and the subsidiaries for the year ended 31st December 2024, and report as follows. 1. The audit committee met in exercise of its statutory responsibilities in accordance with section 404 subsection 7 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. 2. We have examined the auditor's report, findings, and recommendations of management matters, and we are satisfied with management responses thereof. 3. The accounting and reporting policies of the company and its subsidiaries are consistent with legal requirements and are great ethical practices. 4. The company and the subsidiaries maintain effective systems of accounting and internal controls during the year. 5. We are satisfied that management is aggressively pursuing the goals and objectives of the company and its subsidiaries. This report was dated 21st February 2025 and signed by me, Samuel Adedoyi, FCA, on behalf of the committee. Other members of the audit committee are Mr. Odunika Odemide, His Royal Highness Oba Yekini Agbabi, Mr. Moneka, and Akia Kasim Adala. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Adedoyi. The next agenda item is the presentation of external consultants' report on the board evaluation for the year ended December 31, 2024. This evaluation aligns with the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance 2018, the NICOM Corporate Governance Guidelines 2021 for insurance companies, and the Securities and Exchange Commission Corporate Governance Guidelines 2020 for public companies. At this point, I invite Mr. Adedoyi to read the board evaluation report located on page 23 of the annual report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished shareholders of Suno Assurance Nigeria PLC, Chairman and esteemed members of the board, management and staff of Suno Assurance Nigeria PLC, present here today, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adedoyi Galutimba. I represent Adedoyi Galutimba & Co, a firm of consultants and board auditors. We were engaged to conduct the 2024 board evaluation for your board and the corporate governance evaluation for the company. The exercises were carried out between January and March 2025. We have diligently concluded the exercises, submitted the reports, and had an interactive session on our findings and recommendations with the board of Suno Assurances Nigeria PLC at its last meeting, where all issues and concerns were addressed. We are therefore delighted to read the concise summary of the exercise to you. On page 22, you will find the letter addressed to the chairman, and it goes, "Dear sir, reports of the 2024 board evaluation and 2024 corporate governance examination exercises. Our firm, Adedoyi Galutimba & Co, was engaged to 1. Conduct the 2024 board evaluation, and 2. 2024 corporate governance evaluation for your esteemed company. The exercises were carried out on a globally approved methods and the provisions of the NCCG 2018 Principles of Corporate Governance in Nigeria, the National Insurance Commission Guidelines, and the SEC Guidelines on Corporate Governance, and on the basis of information provided by the management of the company. The following are therefore the key findings and recommendations on the exercises. 1. Board evaluation. The board of Suno Assurances Nigeria PLC was adjudged as a strong board, and the following areas of improvement were identified. 1. Appointment of an executive director technical to be prioritized. And two, preparation for imminent vacancies on the board and the transition arrangements in line with NICOM's directives on tenure for non-executive directors. Number two, on corporate governance evaluation, Sunu Assurances Nigerian PSC has complied substantially with the principles of good corporate governance in Nigeria and of course globally. The following recommendations were however made to further keep the company on the path of best practice and good corporate governance. One, the board to identify more potential risks that may face the company, especially with the current global and economic situation in Nigeria. We all know what the economy is like now, even globally. Number two, to conduct more trainings and updates on emerging issues and developments in the insurance industry in relation to the 2024 Insurance Reform Law when accepted to by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Number three, on solvency margin, it was recommended that the board should get familiar more with the new framework and prioritize policies and strategies that strengthen solvency to ensure long-term stability. And if you permit me, let me say that solvency margin is about the minimum amount of capital that an insurance company must maintain to cover potential losses and ensure its financial stability. This is regulated by NICOM. And the last one is, the fourth one is, the board was admonished to put shareholders' funds into maximum within regulatory limits. This will also allow the shareholders' funds can be put into things like solvency, regulatory compliance, and investments. So the board is employed to look at putting some of this money into investments. And the last one is on deployment of technology for more business efficiency and expansion, which was recommended in the board. We all know what technology is saying now. We even talked in our report about using drones to identify areas of accidents and co. We thank you for the opportunity to serve your esteemed company, Barrister A. Adekunle, Managing Consultant. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Agenda number 1, adoption of audited consolidated financial statements. As copies of the report and accounts have already been circulated, I hereby formally present to the meeting the audited consolidated financial statements for the year ended December 31, 2024, along with the reports of the auditors and directors. I, Managing Director, CEO, and other members of the board would be pleased to answer any questions which you may have on the report and accounts before we proceed. MD or Vice Chair, you can actually take the questions or point out if there are any. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, other directors. Good morning, esteemed shareholders. Mr. Chairman, the name is William Sanibari. Today, as one of your shareholders, we are glad for this performance that we have seen. Above it all, we are happy that you are able to pay out the dividend for us. The dividend of 10 kobo to take home. Because if we look at this insurance industry today, it's highly competitive. But for the fact that Sunu is an international brand, and what we have done,
Recording in progress.
or what we have done, continue to bring more profitability. Mr. Chairman, today, as we are celebrating this dividend of TechCom, it is also important to look at the profit after tax, which rose to over 3.5 billion. Please give them a round of applause. Gross premium written rose to over 59.6%. So over 13.3 billion. It's also important that we commend your efforts in claims payment, because the ability to pay claims will make the public to be happy and have confidence to do business with you. We want to congratulate you for that claims payment. But so also today, it is important to look at the corporate governance from page 30 to 35. Every director on the board has shown great interest. Your attendance at meeting is commendable. Everybody has shown interest to work and achieve results. But today, as we are celebrating this performance, it is also important that most of us here, the percentage we have is less than 17%. But with that too, we should be able to tell you the noble truth. And the noble truth there that I have seen that is worrisome to me is your operating expenses on page 51. If you look at that operating expenses, which rose to over 4 billion, that is exactly 32.2%. Every concerned shareholder will feel worrisome about it. You compare that your operating expenses with the profit that you have made this year. Your profit is over 3.5 billion, and on expenses you have spent over 4 billion. 4.3 billion. We all realize that cost of service continue to increase, but then we must watch it. As a financial institution, we must be very, very careful. Like I mentioned earlier, all of us here, we constitute less than 17% of this company. But we'll tell you the noble truth. You have to work on that operating expenses. You cannot continue to grow like that if we want to compete favorably with our peers. MD, Managing Director, I want you to inform every other person on this board and our chairman, I believe is here, for the ability to listen to advice. Last year, I mentioned it that we want to be seeing the report of the MD, because it's the man responsible for the day-to-day running of the business. And above it all, it's an actuarial scientist. We want to see challenges, we want to see aspiration, which you have included in this report. I am very, very happy about it. Obviously, all the shareholders are happy about it. Give them a round of applause. Before I drop this mic too, I want to congratulate you, because realizing the percentage that the majority has on this board, and from what I have seen in this account, capital raising will not be a problem for us. and you have worked assiduously to make sure that you meet the target when as and when due. But our prayer as minority shareholders, we want to take our portion. Our portion is so tiny, but we cannot afford it to lose it. Because if we don't take it, the Suno group will take it. The Suno group have over 83%. We want to know the period and the time that this right will come out. So that it will be time when shareholders have money to buy. And secondly, because it will collide with other insurance companies coming out to raise money. Mr. Chairman, once again, I want to thank you for this opportunity. I want to wish everybody well. And MD, like I mentioned, you are the man responsible for the day-to-day running of this business. You are my good friend, but then go back and work on that operating expense. Every living shareholder that is concerned will not be happy about that right in operating expense, which if you don't take time to continue as the company expands. Thank you for this opportunity given. I wish you more progress in years to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
The virtual chairman. And the acting chairperson, physical. Very distinguished fellow shareholders, other directors. For the records, my name is Nono Howell. I don't want to behave like this first speaker who wanted to write an exam and he has seen the question that he was going to be asked to write about. I am not sure that I'm aware that you have seen the right thing. But I want to start on the note that so what is our preparation vis-a-vis the new law as to what our recapitalization will be. Because that itself is very essential on two fronts. Currently, we are in breach of floats, and if we are going to have a situation where there will be an opportunity for us to correct it, if there is to be additional capital, that for me is to be done. So, what is our stance today vis-a-vis what regulators require? The second one that is also a challenge for me has to do what you have on page 6. On page 6, you have the quotation price of the company. And for 2 consecutive years, I'm seeing 100 cover. And I'm certain that that will not be correct. That will not be correct. I know that we have passed that level long time ago. And from all indications, if we are able to keep this price that we are on now, we are likely to even qualify as medium price company going by NGX classification. So it will be necessary that we take cognizance of that and try to correct it. External assessor. Let me confess here that your report is usually the one I don't read until I've finished all the accounts. I want to thank your courage for being bold in saying some of the things that you said. Which means that you are not afraid, even if we ask you to go and you are not going to earn an income. But please keep it up. Because one of the things that we have seen very many times is that little or nothing is said about the report that is expected to be presented. And the only correction I would want to add is that this report
that you have read, it's not for the chairman, it's for the shareholders. So next time, don't address it to the chairman, address it to the shareholders. And it's on that note that I also want to say that if you look at page 163 to 168, in agreeing with you in your report, at least 4 directors will be appointed almost at the same time. What that then means is that our succession needs to be taken, be given a second look, so we don't have the voice basically depleted in one shot. So that's one major area that I want the board to address. You may not have the answer today, but I think it's something that you must take keen interest in. And I also did hear the first speaker say the minority has 17% of the paid up. And if we have 17%, even if you use the classification of the minimum of 10% to have a board representation, this minority deserves to have a member of this board. So it's something again that you as a board must work at. I am hoping that the vice chairman in person and the chairman by proxy would not give the answer that the minority are being represented by independent directors. That is not an answer that will be hoping that he will give, because if he takes that answer, they will then go to the next level of challenging the correctness of that presentation. But be that as it may, let me also say that if you look at this account on page 159 to 161, we currently have an EPS in excess of 60 kobo. And if we have 60 kobo, and you are asking that we want to pay us 10 kobo, I don't know where the other ones have been kept. And so it may be necessary that you tell us where you have kept the other ones, so we can also go and see how we can resume them. And I say this with all due respect, and I deliberately have started with your pride on the market. If your return is to get better, now that your investment income is also getting better, again agreeing with the external assessor, what you are then going to find is that the share price will also get better. And if you look at your contemporaries who are doing much higher than you are doing, you will find that their prices are also doing better. So one of the things that I'll be hoping that you do next year is that you need to improve on these dividends, because the yields, even if you save 5 naira and you have 10%, what is the yield? Okay. So if you're encouraging you to have better investments, you must also encourage us to have better returns. The second major area that I also think that this board needs to address, if you look at page 46 to 147, the paid up of this company is less than 3 billion. The reserve is already approaching 8 billion, which means that by the end of 2025, your reserve will have been 3 times your paid up. That's the reserve of the company, which is distributable. I will not ask you to distribute 9 billion because NICOM is also not likely to approve of such distribution. But haven't done a bonus last year, haven't done a reduction already, not a bonus, share reduction in 2020. I think it's high time we begin to compensate the minority with a bonus. No matter how small the bonus is, you must do a bonus next year. If you want us to support you. And that is in addition to a dividend that is higher than 10 kobo. Don't say because you have done a bonus and then you take the dividend to 5 kobo and there will be wahala. And I don't think we want wahala, because strangely the person who said the prayer, I thought the wahala from this meeting was going to come from her, but she has prayed that there will be no wahala. So if you don't want wahala, for 2026 or in 2026 or 2025 account, the dividend must be higher and there must be a bonus. Talking about the future, I also think that we need to look at the business of healthcare. because whether we want it or not, it's a good area for the insurance company. However, you cannot also not have a representative of the minority on that board. And the reason that this is important for me is that as unimportant as football may be for some persons, one major lesson you learn from football is they appreciate and understand that you build a team by having a killer team. So if we begin to have minorities on the smaller boards, without necessarily having extra expenses outside range, you then begin to develop talent or identify talent that can move to the main boards. Because with due respect, what a number of companies are doing, especially in the financial sector, is doing clubbing. They just bring their friends and they populate the place, and then it's business as usual. But if you are going to survive long term, it's important that you go in that direction. On the final note, I want to also appeal to our auditors, SIAO. Because even each time you have answer come to represent them, I thought answer has the answer, but I don't think the answer that is bringing is good enough. Because if you look at what NGX has on this platform, which is the submission of your full year, you will find too many errors. Too many errors. When it comes to dividend, for instance, you have 0,000. Okay, because some persons who may not have access to this account before now will have used that as an alternative as to what we are doing. So I will plead with them, working with the company secretary, that they should make sure that what information that they allow you to pass on that platform is one that has minimal error. Otherwise, as a brand, we will also be having challenges. And from that note, that I want to thank you. But please, the page facing the back cover. Let's please appeal to the lady who has decided to hold the husband by the neck, that he shouldn't choke him. Because that is one of the challenges that men are facing now. Not only political choking, economic choking, but this one I think is a sensitive choking. So let's appeal to her and the choking will not.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, fellow distinguished shareholders. Good morning. My name is A.K. Chibuzo Emmanuel, the General Secretary, Independent Shareholders Association of Nigeria. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, the last speaker already touched some of the points I have written down, but then the ones he's unable to touch, I will try and touch them. Yes, Mr. Chairman, my concerns, one, I observed that receiving this annual report here is not good at all. Please, the company secretary should try and improve on posting this annual report so that we'll get it on time and make a good suggestions when we come to this meeting. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, if you check page 151, other operating expenses item, I'm looking at training expenses. Mr. Chairman, that why I pick up that training expenses, I want to link it up to, cybercrime is on the increase now. I want to suggest to the board and management to train our staff so that we will not fall a victim of cyber crime. That is beef up our cyber security since we are a financial institution, so that we will not fall a victim of such a crime. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, on page 159, I want to marry it with page 18, talking about trade and other receivables. I want to suggest, Mr. Chairman, that we constantly review this figure so that we will not be putting our monies up there and then paying a finance cost of such a magnitude. It will help us to always have money in our kitty. Yes, Mr. Chairman, on page 124, I want to suggest the item I'm picking on is financial asset. Yes, it increases. But if you check the list of our portfolios there, Mr. Chairman, I want to suggest we constantly review these our portfolios so that we'll not be losing money by chance. So I'm suggesting a proper mix of our investments. That will give us an advantage, because even what we are having here, this paper we are having here today, is historical. So in your first quarter is looking good. Let the second quarter also look good, so that when we come here next year, we will have a better dividend instead of 10 kobo dividend. We should go out of 10 kobo and think of 20 kobo or even 1 naira. Thank you so much for the opportunity given to me.
Hello, we'll take one more so that we'll just respond to all this before we lose track. So a woman, madam, please, check the gender services. What they show us.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, the members of the board, the regulatory authority present, and my co-shareholder. My name is Mrs. E.O. Obide, the National Coordinator of Park of Shareholder Association Incorporated. Sir, we really appreciate the board. Firstly, me, I'm always concerned about female gender, and on the board of they have 3, that's 33%. As the set required. That's good of it, sir. Sir, I want to make emphasis on our staff, our casual staff. Our farm, our project, and the training, and the sales department, the location. We have so many places now that are being developed. Are they going there? Muwe is there, Ikorodu is there, Badagry is there, and other places like that. When they are going out, are they touching that place to let them know that Sunu are grand? What are we doing on that aspect? I like what the board did this morning about the annual report. There are some other companies that will not do that. A female on the board spoken, and what a female says, I think is the final. A man spoke and a female spoke. Adam and Eve are together. And in this solo today, Adam and Eve spoke. Then what do we want? It is printer and whatever the register. As we are in season, maybe 1 or 2 things happen. That is why some people, I got my own time anyway. I done my annual report 2 weeks ago. So if people couldn't get, and the MD has apologized, the director has apologized. Oh, you don't respect man. You know, which in the next, but in the next 4 years, we will rule this country and we will rule it well, by God's grace. By God's grace. And all of us, thank you, madam. And we know this madam has spoken. There is nothing that she has been doing that she has been failed. We know her, nothing from 2, 3, 4 companies, which she has been doing well. Sir, I want us, the first thing I spoke is about our sales department, and it's very key, because this is where we can get our revenue, this is where we can get our dividend. They don't spend cover again. There's no biscuit 10 kobo, 20 kobo. We pray for the board and the management that God will give you wisdom and understanding. Let's look at where we can diversify or where we can get more revenue so that we can get dividend. The beginning of this year, our share price increased. Suddenly the thing dropped. You have done a great job for us from kobo to naira. From kobo to naira. People was kobo before, but now even if it's drop, it's still naira. So that means the God are working and working hard, and God will be your strength. God will uphold you. God will give you wisdom and understanding. I have to thank the company secretariat. If you need anything or information, just call the CS or company secretariat. If the CS cannot answer you, other people will answer you and solve the problem. That means the company secretariat are doing a good job. Thank you and God bless you. The next day is
Good afternoon, honorable shareholders. I'll first start by thanking you immensely for your valuable insights and your kind prayers. We do not take it for granted. So the bulk of what we have in terms of your comments have been comments and recommendations from Mr. Williams. I don't think you will call it Mr. Williams Adebayo. Okay. Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me, sir? Okay. So we thank Mr. Williams Adebayo for his comments and advice. Most importantly, we have spoken about our operating expenses, which is a concern that we also have. And we'd like to assure you that we're working very hard to ensure that we have our operating expense as minimal as possible so that we can all enjoy better dividends moving forward. Mr. Nonawo, those the treasure that we get from your Professor Nonawo. From your fountain of wisdom and your very infectious humor when you admonish us, we try and end with a laugh, but we still get your messages loud. We would not go before our regulators in terms of recapitalization. There are a lot of speculations in the market. In terms of structure and preparedness, we will see that through our transition, we have a stronger structure. Our corporate governance is better than it was before. We take the advice from shareholders. We don't take it lightly at all. We take it and we put it into implementation. That has kept us solid as a company. So in terms of capitalization, even when we need to extend requests for financial support of funds, we are well prepared to, we're a beautiful bride in waiting, for investors to come to us. We've taken care of our in-house lapses. We do not have any regulatory infractions, so we're good to go in that regard. That's to answer you that we present today. By the special grace of God, we are prepared. In terms of succession planning on the board, it is something that we also have policies that we're working towards to ensure that we're well rounded. If you remember when we started the board, I was the only female on the board, and you made a case for diversity. We're now 3 women on the board. And I think that we're moving towards the of succession and diversity. And we will give more consideration to succession planning moving forward. Your comments about 70% of the minority shareholders, we don't look at it in terms of numbers. Every shareholder is extremely important to us as shareholders. We take every comment very seriously. If you watch us at AJ, we have pen and paper because your comments are very important to us. They are details and they are comments that companies will pay consultants a huge amount of money for. So we do not take our shareholders, we don't look at shareholders in terms of minority, we look at every shareholder as very critical to us. Yes, dividends, because of the inflation, the economic challenge that we have, which is also a conversation that we have on the board, that moving forward, we need to have an upward, we need to work harder and have an upward review of dividends. The dividends, the review of dividends has nothing to do with bonus. Bonus is a different matter. But with your advice, your prayers, and your support, I'm sure that we will be there as quickly as possible. The business of healthcare too, yes, it's very important. I will also consider your comments in that regard. Mr. Answer will provide more answers in terms of minimal errors moving forward. So thank you very much, sir. Mr. AK, we've spoken about our education expenses. So yes, cybercrime was the showcase, and financial players like us are exposed. So thank you for those comments. We are beefing it up, but we will make more scrutiny as regards our security measures moving forward. We will also review our portfolios and spread our wings to ensure that our investments is spread across 6 areas of investment as well. And finally, our dear sister, Mrs. EO of ADA, thank you so much for OBA. Thank you so much for your kind prayers. As you can see, we are very balanced. We have more women sitting on the table today than men. Good comments about our sales and casual staff as well. The insurance penetration in Nigeria is almost very less than 1%. We all need to know. It's a call for action, not just for clinical, but for other insurance companies, that we keeping the penetration of insurance. We have more knowledge on insurance spread across the entire pyramid that we have. There are a lot of clusters, mechanic deliveries, markets that our sales and casual staff of the organization should extend their reach in terms of marketing campaigns. We want to assure you that we will do that. Take your comments and you will see in our reports that we are taking those comments very critically. Again, on behalf of myself, the chairman, and the entire board, we want to thank you most sincerely for all your great comments today. Thank you.
Good morning. The comment by Nonao, Chief Nonao, Professor Nonao, I'm not be corrected. Except for Professor Nonao. They are very tricky. And the one from Adelaide, the one from Obile, and the one from AK. They are very tricky. My chairman has already said that. What else do you have to say again? Except to say that you mentioned something about profession and diversity. You didn't say the quality of the people who are singing on the song. You don't say thank you. You can see the delivery of the vice chairman. Is it excellent? Yes. So those are the qualities we have of the club. These are the people that are going to drive Sulu assurance as we move forward. And I can assure you, all the things you are trading for, increase revenue, increase dividend, increase this. You are giving. And moving forward, we will teach it to you. So on that basis, I would say we move to the next item. Is it carried? We move to the next item, which the vice chair will handle. Thank you very much.
I hereby move that the audited consolidated financial statement I hereby move that the audited consolidated financial statement for the year ended 31st December 2024, together with the reports of the directors, external auditors, and the audit committee, which have already been circulated, be and are hereby adopted. Will the shareholder please rise and second the resolution?
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Bisi Adedika, Lagos Shareholders Association. I second that motion.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My minister.
Will those in favor of this resolution please signify by raising their hand? Will those in favor of this resolution please signify by raising their hand? Thank you. Will those against the resolution signify by raising their hand? No dissenting votes. I declare the resolution carried unanimously. Agenda number 2. Approval of 10 kobo dividend payments to shareholders. Item 2 on the agenda is the approval of the dividend payment of 10 kobo per ordinary share as recommended by the directors to shareholders, whose names appear in the register of members as at the close of business on Friday, 30th May 2025. I now call on the shareholder to approve the payment of 10 kobo per ordinary share. Shareholders whose names appear in the company register of members as at the close of business on Friday, 30th May 2025. Will the shareholder please rise and second the resolution?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Noble Heto Mabwe. Noble Heto Mabwe.
Thank you. Will those in favor of the resolution signify by raising their hands? Will those in favor of the resolution signify by raising their hands? Ushers, please, can we pause? Ushers, can we pause? Will those against the resolution signify by raising their hands? vote against. No dissenting vote. I declare the resolution carried unanimously. Agenda number 3, approval of retiring directors. Item 3 of the agenda is the re-election of retiring directors. In accordance with section 2851 of the Companies and Allied Persons Act, LFS 2020, 1/3 or number closest to 1/3 of the directors are required to retire at every annual general meeting. And the retiring directors, if eligible, can put themselves up for the election. I now call the secretary to read the names of the retired directors and if they have indicated interest in being re-elected.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Thank you once again, distinguished shareholders. The retiring directors are Mary Kumar, Isisola Ebakari, and Adia Aisha. And both directors have indicated their interest in being re-elected. Thank you, Madam.
I now call on the shareholder to propose the resolution that the re-election of Mrs. Olajumoke Bakare and Hadia Aisha Abubakar as directors of the company be done by a single resolution.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Okeleye Adeleke Elizabeth. I second that motion.
Thank you.
Thank you, my chairperson. My name is Babatunde Elekede. I second the motion.
Will those in favor of the resolution signify by raising their hand? Will those in favor of the resolution signify by raising their hand? Will those against the resolution? No dissenting vote. I declare the resolution carried unanimously. I now call on the shareholder to propose the resolution that Mr. Olajumoke Bakare and Hadia Aisha Abubakar, both non-executive directors retiring in office in accordance with section 285 of the Companies and Allied Persons Act, LFS 2020, be and hereby re-elected as non-executive directors of the company. Will the shareholder please write and second the resolution?
Thank you, my name is Abel Victoria. I so second.
Thank you. This seems to be like a different thing.
Yes,
Please, can we have another shareholder write and introduce themselves?
Thank you, my honorable chairperson. The name is Engineer Victor Edinai. I second the motion.
Thank you. Will those in favor of the resolution signify by raising their hands? Will those in favor of the resolution signify by raising their hands? Thank you. Will those against the resolution signify by raising their hands? No dissenting vote. I declare the resolution carried unanimously. Agenda number 4, to authorize directors to fix the remuneration of the external auditors. Item 4 on the agenda is to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the external auditors who will act as auditors and financial advisors for year 2025. Under section 4081B of the Companies and Allied Persons Act, LFS 2020, the Act requires that the remuneration of external auditors shall be fixed to by the company in the general meeting or in such manner as the company in the general meeting may determine. I hereby vote that the director be and are hereby authorized to fix the remuneration of the external auditors for the year ending 31st December 2025. Will a shareholder please rise and second the resolution?
My name is Tracy Engineer MOT Olaiwola Tolu. I rise to second the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Minister Ali Ayawale Sikiru. I have asked about the motion.
Thank you. Those in favor of the resolution signify by raising their right hand. Will those in favor of the resolution signify by raising their right hand? Will those against the resolution signify by raising their right hand? No dissenting votes. I declare the resolution carried unanimously. Agenda number 5, disclosure of the remuneration of managers. In line with the section 257 Tama LFN 2020, the compensation of managers of the company shall be disclosed to members of the company at the annual general meeting. The information is provided in pages 43 of the 2024 annual report and account. Ladies and gentlemen, this business does not require a vote. I'd like to pray your indulgence. Can I defer the audit committee to the end?
Go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Item number 7. To approve the remuneration of directors. In line with section 2931 LFN 2020, your company is required by law to seek the approval of the annual fees payable to directors for the 2025 financial year. Shareholders will therefore be requested to fix the remuneration of the directors at 51,461 million for 2025 financial year, comprising of allowance, annual fee, travel, and domestic allowance. I had thought that as a woman speaking, you would like to listen to my voice. No, I don't think you are listening.
What is the amount?
I hereby move that the director's remuneration be and is hereby fixed at 51,461 million for 2025 financial year, comprising of teaching allowance, annual fee, and travel allowance. Will a shareholder please write and second the resolution?
Thank you. My name is Charles Obioromogu. I second the motion.
Will those in favor of the resolution signify by raising their right hands? Will those in favor of the resolution signify by raising their right hands? Will those against the resolution signify vote? I declare the resolution carried unanimously. Agenda number 8. Authority to enter into recurring transactions with related parties in compliance with Rule 20.8A of the Nigerian Exchange Rules. That in compliance with Rule 20.8 of the Nigerian Exchange Limited Government transactions with related entities or interested persons. The company B and is hereby granted a general mandate to enter into recurring transactions with related parties for the company day-to-day operations. On normal commercial terms, these mandates are commenced on the date on which the resolution is passed and shall continue to operate until the date of which the next annual general meeting is held. In line with the 28 then shall be voted by related parties or all interested parties. I hereby move that the director be and are hereby authorized to take all necessary steps to comply with the above requirements. Will the shareholders rights and responsibilities?
Thank you, my chairperson. The name is Evangelist Dr. Anthony Omojola. I hereby support the motion.
Thank you. Will those in favor of the resolution signify by raising their right hand? Will those in favor of the resolution signify by raising their right hand? Thank you. Will those against the resolution signify by raising their right hand? No dissenting vote. I declare the resolution carried unanimously. I'll go back. Please, can we have one house? I would like to go back to one house. Agenda number 6. To elect, re-elect members of the audit committee. Item 6 on the agenda is the election of members of the audit committee in accordance with section 3 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act. The audit committee shall consist of 5 members, comprising of 3 members elected by shareholders and 2 board representatives. The board has nominated Hadia Aisha Abubakar and I have recommended that the director of the audit committee for 2025. The secretary confirmed receipt of 27 valid nominations from shareholders for election of the audit committee. However, this complexes their nominations was annual. I hereby present 3 nominated persons for election of the 3 of them into the audit committee. Names are number 1, Mr. Samuel Adekunle Adedoyin. I hereby declare that Mr. Samuel Adekunle Ladies and gentlemen, as I go on my business, it's my pleasure to take this meeting through. Thank you all.